We're going to talk today about alumibond 3000 aluminum welding rods. Check out our website at alumibond.ca and see what you can do for aluminum welding when you thought it was too tough to do, but now we're going to make it real easy. It's simple to do. All you need is a little stainless steel brush, a propane torch, and alumibond 3000 welding rods. In fact, it's not really welding though, it's more like brazing considering the temperatures we're working at. And the secret behind the whole thing is that you have to understand aluminum will melt at about 1250 degrees Fahrenheit. Alumibond 3000 rods melt at about 730, so you've got a good range of safety before you blow a hole in that part. The key here is to heat the parent metal with that propane torch. Heat the parent metal up to the extent whereby if you touch the alumibond rod onto it, the alumibond rod will start to melt. At that point you're ready to go. Keep on heating that parent metal. Never put the heat right on the rod and just let that rod flow right into the joint. Here's a few examples of things you can do. Here's a flange type joint on some thin aluminum. That can be tricky to do sometimes with either MIG, TIG, whatever you got. But here's a good solid joint, nice and smooth, nice and clean, and you can grab that, pull on it, push on it, hit it with a big hammer if you want. When you got it in a vise, you can't take that thing apart. Another tricky joint to do is what they call a butt joint, just a thin butt joint on about 32 thou aluminum right here. There's a nice example right there. Again, you can pull, push, grab, hit it with the big hammer if you want. Nothing's going to take it apart. Somebody asked me once, can you do heavy aluminum, heavier parts? Of course you can. Here's 1/4 inch aluminum right there. This is a brake part off an airplane. We bonded that with alumibond 3000, put that in the vise, hit it with you-know-who again, and what do you know? We just bent the aluminum part. We never damaged the joint at all. It's still a real sound repair right across there. Here's a canister we like to show sometimes. Here's a thin piece of aluminum onto a thicker piece of aluminum, and then we went further and put that thicker piece of aluminum onto the aluminum canister. Okay? We put the aluminum canister in a vise, whacked it again with a big old hammer, and all we managed to do was dent the aluminum canister and bend that aluminum angle. A few other examples of what we can do. We've drilled some holes in the bottom of this canister. There's one just filled up. Took about 10 seconds worth of work. This one's been filled and then buffed down a little bit. You can CAD plate it, you can chrome it, you can do whatever you want. Here's an example over here where we took a side grinder and cut 3 slashes in this aluminum canister bottom. This has been filled up right here. That's been filled up and buffed quite nicely, and this one's ready to go. Okay? That takes about maybe 1 minute to make a repair like that. Save yourself a lot of money, fix it at home. Here's another example of some repair we've done. This is an old magneto, and this is the part right here where you adjust the timing on it. We took a side grinder and cut out about 1/4 inch of this part right here. Now remember that alumibond 3000 won't stick to steel, so we put a 3/8 bolt through here, backed it up with a couple of washers, and just filled the alumibond 3000 into that vacant joint. Okay, after about 10 minutes of grinding and final shaping with a file, we've got a nice looking repair right here that is actually stronger than the parent metal. Another part we like to show people is this half crankcase off an ATV. The hard ATV guys like to go up and down, sometimes hit the rocks when they come down, and they may actually break the crankcase or give it a crack. If you had to buy a new crankcase, you buy the match set for about 800 bucks, or buy some alumibond and you can fix it in about 20 minutes yourself for about $1. This is a 1/8 inch slash we put in here. We've done 3 of them actually, and here's one repaired in 15-20 minutes like that with about $1 worth of alumibond 3000. And by the way, when I told you it wouldn't stick to steel, take advantage of that. I drilled out a threaded portion right here. We heated up the parent metal right here. We liquefied some alumibond 3000 rod, kept it liquefied by heating that parent metal, sunk the steel bolt in it. We put the steel bolt all the way to the bottom, let things cool. We withdrew that bolt with a wrench when it cooled down, and now you've got a threaded fitting again. No helicoil involved. Your imagination is pretty much the only thing that's going to slow you down here. You've got to take a look at some ideas that you have aluminum repairs to make, or you want to make something out of aluminum, go ahead. Do a Google search on aluminum welding, or get right over to YouTube and do an aluminum welding search on YouTube, and you'll see all kinds of examples of what these rods can do. Remember, we are alumibond.ca with our alumibond 3000 rods. Get some today and get fixing that part yourself.